Well, they are honored Scotty Gomez prior to the game with the fact that he had just played his 1,000th game in their loss to the New York Rangers the other night. Here's our Kia starting goaltender. Marc-Andre Fleury's record not great here in New Jersey over the years, but he doesn't have to face Marty Brodeur at the other end. Our Hyundai starting goalie is
Marc-Andre Fleury. Again, another chance to get that 20th. But yes, Corey Snyder, our Hyundai starting goaltender. You know, his save percentage is there, not on the shorthanded situation, but Mike Johnson, MJ as they call him, Camilleri called him today in his first season with the Penguins, 22 wins and a .700 winning percentage.
And Lou Lamoriello, he wears executive suits that are fit for a head of state behind the bench. To his right, the bespectacled Scott Stevens. Don't be fooled by that. One of the meanest people who ever played in the National Hockey League. And to his left, Adam Oates. You won't see him there, but he is on the bench, and he was an offensive genius when he played in the league. A lot of experience. All three Hall of Famers behind the bench tonight for the Devils. And the Devils dump the puck in. Back to get it goes Brian Dumoulin, who played for the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins and then came right up to play for the Pittsburgh Penguins tonight. So consecutive games for Dumoulin. Now Brian Rust ahead for Sidney Crosby. Comes with speed. Crosby around Green, but then Green stayed with him to prevent him from getting a shot away. Rust with a shot. A wrister went wide of the goal. Off the corner boards, Dumoulin dumps it behind the net. Centers for Crosby. Rather trying to center. Couldn't get it through. It comes to Kunis now. Rust will grab the puck. He's hit by Peter Harold. Rust kicks it free. Crosby wants to go get it. Taps it loose. Kunis grabs it. Good shift here for the Penguins to start the game. Crosby for Rust, and he couldn't pull the trigger. Not quite sure why he couldn't get hold of the puck there as it came right in front. But a good opportunity there for Brian Rust, looking for his second goal in a Penguin uniform. Dumoulin snaps it along. Letang moves it up to center, but it'll be taken by the Devils. Zidlicky, as it's pronounced, to Henrique. And now Yager tries to go to Henrique, but it's broken up. And Brandon Sutter goes the other way, taps it off the boards back into the Devils zone. John Merrill goes back to get it for New Jersey. Now Malkin works the corner. He scored the lone goal in that 1-0 win for the Penguins on the 2nd of December. Shot from Scuderi is blocked away. Now Malkin with a drive. That misses the net on the blocker side of Schneider and conveniently hops right onto the stick of Scotty Gomez. Gomez moves it to Yager. Yager swooping in, backhanded. Henrique, a shot and a good save by Fleury on Adam Henrique, who was looking for his 10th goal of the season.
Gomez and Yager out there with Henrique. And the first goal is so big in these games against the Devils. And then you know they're going to play tight defensively. We got a penalty here with a shot from behind. Farnham's going to draw a penalty against the against the Devils here. And it looks like the youngster Eric Jelena might be the man going off. One of the young defensemen here in New Jersey. There's Farnham digging. He takes a little bit of a shot from behind. Marc-Andre Fleury. The Yager feed with the right side of his pad, and Sidney Crosby trying to go against Green. He went inside, went outside, and Andy Green, he's about as good as they have defensively on the backside, and he stayed with Sidney Crosby.
Big 6'4", 215 Eric Jelena in the box. The Penguins with the UPMC Sports Medicine power play. It'll be fun to watch it with Pouliot and Letang playing on the points. Malkin was working the half wall today in practice. We'll see if he goes there right away with Sidney Crosby down low. This is Letang centering, and it's off a stick of a Devil, and the Devils will get control of it. Sestito moves it out to center. On the right side now, defenseman Green carries in. He's a +15 in his career against the Penguins, Andy Green. Now here's Malkin back to center. Malkin moves it for Crosby. And Travis Zajac tried to clear Letang, held it in for Sid. Behind the back pass finds Kunitz. Kunitz back out to Letang. It's in his skates, but he's able to work it down to the corner. Malkin will take it there. Back up top to Letang. And Letang shuffles it along for Malkin. Crosby on the goal line. Sidney Crosby back to Malkin on the wall. Back out top. Letang shot off a stick and cleared.
As you described, as they practiced this morning, Malkin found his way over to that half wall. Pouliot, they want him carrying the puck up if they can. He is a master at that. So intelligent. And Evgeny Malkin on that half wall position, he can shoot or he can find Letang back in the center of the ice.
Second unit on already for the Penguins, and a lead pass out of the reach of Robert Bortuzzo from Dupre turns into an icing, and they'll bring it back into the Penguin zone. Our Rivers Casino tips to win include a power play goal tonight.
Well, yeah, match the Devils fire with the new coaches back there. Lamoriello, 72. Physical on that guy. He's 42. Not quite 72, but he's old for a hockey player. And yeah, I think they need a power play goal. It's huge. It really is. And it's going to be a tight game. The last game was 1-0. 8-3 was the score the first time these two teams met. That thing just was unexpected for sure. This one I expect to be low scoring.
25 seconds to go on this penalty to Jelena. Bortuzzo across the ice for Sutter. Brandon Sutter trying to go back to Dupre. Sutter better get back, and he does. Does a good job to keep the puck away from Steven Giotta. And now they're going to bring it back out for a face-off. What are they saying here? An intentional offside? They're bringing it back into the Penguin zone.
Yeah, they are. Take a look. Sidney Crosby's on the goal line on the power play. There's Letang. Moves the puck to the middle of the ice. Fires it back to Malkin. Now Malkin can go down to the goal line to Crosby or back up, as he will here, to Letang to the middle. So Malkin, kind of everything's going to run through Evgeny Malkin maybe in this half wall situation as he and Crosby flip-flop. And I don't think Crosby's so good with his hands and with his feet, and obviously the hand-eye coordination down low. You know, I tell you, if you want to score goals, get to the front of the net. I think Crosby could make it happen.
Crosby back on the ice, top unit back on for the remainder of the power play. It's over now, though. Jelena comes on. Letang fires the puck, and it's wide of the goal. Penguins didn't register a shot on that power play.
And of course, Hornqvist is not available to the Penguins. He's going to be out for several weeks with a lower body injury after being hit by a Harrington shot. So that gives the Penguins an opportunity to really try to change the dynamic, the positioning of this power play.
And you did hear Mike Johnston say to Dan Potach, those two will interchange, as he put it, Malkin and Crosby. So it won't be Gino on the half wall all the time, but it will be interesting to see those two doing that again. That's what they've done a lot lately. Here's Gomez to the goal, and he shot it high and wide. Last couple of years, Malkin and Crosby have flip-flopped between that half-court position on the power play. Yager with a shot, blocked by Andrew Ebbett. Yager got it back. It's blocked by Scuderi. And now out on left wing for Klinkhammer. And Klinkhammer carries into the Devils zone and shoots it off a stick. To the corner it goes of Bobby Farnham, who drew that penalty. He's been doing that a lot. That's one thing about Farnham. He may not score a lot of goals, but he'll draw you the odd power play. An offside call here on the New Jersey Devils. You talked about the power play, Bob, and boy, it was really on fire early in the year because of the addition of Patrick Hornqvist, that right shot.
Well, it was, and there he took a shot. He tried to lift the leg, but obviously put the skate right in harm's way. He took it right off the laces. They said he's going to be out for several weeks. So Rick Tocchet in discussion with his group this morning, on and off the ice, really trying to get it back on track. You remember they scored a lot of 5-on-3 goals as well early, 4 of them as a matter of fact, that really enhanced and kept the momentum of that power play going.
I don't think he'll be too pleased with that first power play. After all the time they spent on it and talking about it today, to come out and not even register a shot on the first opportunity won't make Rick Tocchet very happy. Penguins will look to do a better job the second time around. Dumoulin goes back. He was hit hard, but now taken and centered. And to shoot the puck was Joe Whitney, just recalled from the A-Devils, as they call them, in Albany. Now it's Sestito with it, and Tim Sestito banks it off the boards, back on defense. Derek Pouliot takes advantage of the change here. Dupre down the wing, shoots it, and the save by Schneider. And the rebound out of the reach of Dupre, but picked up by Malkin on the left wing wall. Malkin looks for an open man. It was Sutter, but he had to turn to receive the pass, and it goes off his stick to center, where Pouliot sends it ahead. Malkin wants that puck, and here he goes for Dupre, cutting into the middle. Dumps it to the corner, and John Merrill goes back for New Jersey. Now Zilichki tried to clear, couldn't do so. Malkin trying to get the pass from Sutter, but Merrill got in the way of that. Moves it out to center, where Pouliot moves it along for Dupre.
Like this pairing stay, I kind of do. You got Simon Dupre back on his natural position, that left side. He's the bruiser, but he'll get involved offensively. Pouliot playing the right side, a left-handed shooter. You already saw Simon Dupre get 2 opportunities on that last shift from his natural left side, left defense side.
Zajac cross corner dump. Bernier getting in after it against Bortuzzo, who goes down. Bernier tried to come out of the corner where the Bakunitz working deep in his own zone. Finds Rob Scuderi. Scuderi snaps it along for Bortuzzo. Up the wing now for Crosby, who just tips it into the offensive zone. Brian Rust, the first man on it. Whacked it over to here to the near side, and then Kunitz mishandled the puck. Gionta moves it out in center. Ruutu drops it back for Peter Harold. The defenseman is hit by Bortuzzo after dumping the puck in. Scuderi gets in after it along with Crosby. Scuderi doing a good job to protect the puck down low. Now Bortuzzo sends it up the wall for Kunitz. He tried to tip it out to center. Gionta gave it right back to Kunitz. Rust to Kunitz. And now Kunitz loses it into the Devils zone, and Gionta, who is knocked down, ends up getting the puck and carrying it in, but the Devils changing. He's looking for reinforcements and instead just dumps it deep, and Letang goes to get it with Jagr bearing down on him. Jagr and Henrique team up to try to get control of the puck with the Penguins, able to get it out of their own zone. And the lead pass out of the reach of Marcel Goc, cleared by Eric Jelinek. Penguins quickly move it D to D as Dumoulin sends it up ahead. Dumoulin gets to the puck and dumps it into the Devils zone.
And this line of Goc and Farnham spalling out against the Jagr unit with Gomez, who just played his 1000th game in the National Hockey League. A little ceremony before this one started.
Gomez. Henrique. Letang poke checked him nicely just as he was ready to move the puck. Now it's Dumoulin with it. He'll tap it back into the quarter for Andrew Evatt. Able to poke it away from Jagr. Ahead now to Spalling, who just whacked it out to center. Taken there by Zidlichki into the Penguin zone. Cuts it to the middle of Dumoulin, who reached out, poked it away from him momentarily. Now Jagr gets to it. And he slides it back into the corner where Letang picks it up and banks it off the cage.
Over to Dumoulin, who played yesterday for Wilkes-Barre Scranton, and he's called up. Harrington out of the lineup for the Penguins tonight.
Harrington was solid defensively at times the other night against Alexander Ovechkin, but he's a -6, and maybe they want to flip-flop Harrington and Dumoulin, give them each enough time. Here's Pouliot shooting, and that one didn't get through. John Merrill with it, and he banks it ahead. It'll be carried now by Zubris to Zajac, and now for Camilleri, but Zajac was one step ahead of the play coming into the offensive zone, and offside is called. No score. Scott Stevens handles the defense. He's on the left. Adam Oates handles the offensive responsibilities. He's on the right of your screen, and in the middle is Lou Lamoriello, the president, and the longtime president since 1987 of this club that has been very successful. They went to the finals in 95, 2000, 01, and 03, won the cup in 95, 2000, and 03, and Scott Stevens was a captain of all three of those cup-winning teams. And they come back here to help Lou Lamoriello. It's an interesting setup, and only Lou Lamoriello will talk to the media, however. It's always one voice here in New Jersey. Malkin can't find the puck. Andy Green with it now. Moves it ahead on the right wing for Bernier. And behind now for Pouliot. Says he's a little more comfortable after getting a chance to practice with the team at South Point yesterday. Nicely called, though. We'll invite you to tweet the booth at Root Sports Pit. Use the hashtag PensBooth. Send your comments and questions. It's brought to you by Point Park University. Send us a question for Bob, and he'll answer it for you.
I'll try to. Lou Lamoriello, 72 years of age. He coached the last 50 games, 05-06 for the Devils when Larry Robinson had to step down for personal reasons. So he's been there before.
Yes, and he was the coach of Providence College, and a very successful one. Shot to the net, kicked out by Fleury. The rebound try right on the doorstep also stopped as Jaromir Jagr was there looking to pop one home. So Zidlichki shot a good one through traffic, and Fleury had to be sharp with that right pad. Now it's Megna into the Devils zone. Leaves it behind the net. Malkin. Crosby on the ice now. Gino brings it up high. Look at him skate. Malkin wants to handle that puck. He finds Sid. Crosby backhand shot. And it's wide of the goal. Crosby to the puck again. Up top now, Bortuzzo, a quick shot. And good stick work there by Zidlichki to steer it to the corner. Zidlichki on the puck again. And he'll move it out to center where Scotty Gomez looks to his left. Pass too hard for Henrique. He had to turn and go to the bench anyway. The Devils change as the Penguins bring it to center. And as Rust gaining the red line and dumping it in. Corey Schneider just got a piece of that as it came around. And back to the point it comes for Letang, for Kunitz, to Crosby, now for Rust, and off the blade of his stick, and the Devils go the other way. Zubris left it there for Camilleri. Camilleri wants to get back in the scoring parade for the Devils. He's scored 5 goals in his first 5 games. Got a total of 11 on the season, so 6 since. And here's Zajac with it now. He fired it off the paddle of Fleury as he came around the net. Here's Green with it now, out at center now for Camilleri. Behind the net, Sestito there. Goc bumps him. Dumoulin got a stick on it. Now it's Letang with the puck. Letang lifts it out to center where it's gloved down by Harold, stolen by Spaulding. Spaulding settles the puck down, but his backhand shot blocked by Harold. Near side, Gotch with a shot. That's blocked. Comes out to Pouliot. He risks one towards the goal, and that's knocked down by a Devil as Harold got in front of that one. And now carried out to center by Sestito, and he slows the play down and dumps it to the right wing corner. Jordan Tootoo in after it now. Now it's Dupre on the puck.
Tootoo's the man who got in the face of Robert Bortuzzo in Pittsburgh after Bortuzzo blasted Jaromir Jagr. So we'll see if Tootoo gets into the face of Bortuzzo in this one tonight.
They've got Tootoo and Ruutu in their lineup tonight. Here's Harold dumping the puck in around the left side. Bernier hit hard by Bortuzzo. Now it's Ruutu in the corner. Sutter battles to get possession. Gionta tried to shoot it. And it's picked up by Ruutu. Tuomo Ruutu to the left point. This is Merrill. Took a little bit off that slap shot of Fleury. Able to make the save on John Merrill. That shot was deflected on the way through.
Yeah, Bernier with a redirect. There's been a couple of redirects. Jagr tried to redirect this point shot. He missed, but he got the rebound. Big saves by Fleury early.
We are still scoreless here at the Prudential Center. Adam Oates, as we said, back on the bench as a co-coach with the Devils, just a few feet from the man who gave him his first coaching gig in the NHL. That would be Rick Tocchet. The two played together for the Bruins in the mid-90s, and when Rick was named head coach in Tampa, he hired Adams prior to the 09 season to coach his offense. Now, that season, current Penguin Steve Downey had a career-high 22 goals, and some guy named Stamkos hit 51.
Crosby had 51.
That's right.
Year. Yes. And he shared the Rocket Award that year. And offside here at the Devils blue line. So we've seen Crosby on the ice.
Man, he's gotten a lot of good chances, Bob said recently.
And he's got behind the D many times, but you got to shoot the puck. And in the last game, for example, Alexander Ovechkin shot the puck to the Penguins net 17 times. You know, and after 2 periods, Crosby had 1 attempt at the opposition. So he's already passed up a couple of shots in this hockey game. Yes, they were bad angle ones, but a couple too many passes on the last shift. You got to shoot the puck if you're going to score, and everybody knows it's a percentage type game. You get 10 shots, you're probably going to score 1 goal. So we'll see if that's going to happen, if his shot total can get to 5 or 6 a night, because he's got the ability to put 5 or 6 on the board every night. And without Hornquist, somebody's got to get shots to the net.
Crosby with 3 goals in his last 24 games. Harold dumps the puck in. And of course, he's been setting goals up along the way now and then for his line mates. And here's Merrill with it. And a redirect there by Gomez. It's stopped by Fleury standing up. Gomez moves it to the point. Merrill. Zidlichki. Shot pass looking for the stick of Henrique. And the Penguins able to work it back to center. Klinkhammer after it. Zidlichki in tight quarters there trying to get the puck back into the Penguin zone. Klinkhammer working along the wall against Jaromir Jagr, and this is Zidlichki with it. 37-year-old defenseman. He's one of the veteran defensemen on this club. There's been a lot of young ones, as the Penguins do tonight in the lineup. Here's Scuderi with it, banking it ahead now to Dominic Huer. He will dump it in, or at least try it, hit a Devil. Huer also fresh up from Wilkes-Barre.
Yeah, only 21 years of age, and that gave Tyler Maravich, a Pittsburgh native, a shot as he got called up from Wheeling and is on the roster in Wilkes-Barre. Good luck, Tyler.
Turning with it is Bernier behind the Penguins net. Sends it out to Jelena. The slap shot and Fleury to stop. The rebound loose. And Ruutu gets to it for New Jersey. Behind the net now for Bernier. Back out to Jelena, the slapper. That was blocked. Bobby Farnham got in the way of that, and now he's hobbling back to the Penguins bench. As Malkin pulls up and trying to move it to the middle, but Tuomo Ruutu waiting there. Now they move it on the right wing to Bernier. He's got a man busting to the net. Bernier instead sends it behind the net for that man. Ruutu to the left wing boards to Sestito. Sestito, the stutter step move on Pouliot, who stayed with him. And Letang able to wind it around to the near side, where Dupre gets it ahead to Malkin. Malkin makes a nice move on Tootoo. And finds Sutter, who just dishes it up into the Devils zone. Harold goes back to play. Sestito right up the middle. Confronted in the neutral zone by Sidney Crosby. He dumps it in. And back in behind now for Pouliot. Kunitz hands it off to Crosby, coming with speed. Around Green. Crosby's backhander. Did that go in? I think it did.
Yes,
it went up underneath the crossbar. Crosby scores a beauty off the rush on a backhand shot to make it 1-0 Pittsburgh.
Well, he tried to dance Andy Green in the opening shift, and well, he just danced the D of the Devils again and put a shot up under the bar. It was crazy. Green got beat this time by Crosby. He goes short side. As you can see, Schneider moving off the goalpost. Nobody's got a better backhand than that, and that is top shelf where you put the peanut butter. No mistake by Sidney Crosby. Just a beautiful effort after he just undressed Andy Green on the blue line. And that's what he's been doing. He's showed great speed from blue line to blue line. He's been unable to finish. Unquestionably, that was a fantastic goal. Unbelievable, Staggy, the way he was able to move from inside out on Green. Green crossing over, couldn't really match the speed of Crosby. He was moving forward.
That was the first shot on goal in 9 minutes and 7 seconds for the Penguins, and a beautiful one, giving the Penguins the 1-0 lead. Spaulding with a little soft backhander, kicked away by Corey Schneider. And the Devils are going back to the future with their neutral zone play. There's a shot. It's all that much more important for the Penguins to get the first goal here tonight. If the Devils had gotten the first one, that would have made them feel pretty good, and they would have maybe locked into that system that they've been known for years. And they're trying to kind of rekindle here under Lou Lamoriello and Scott Stevens and Adam Oates. But now it's the Penguins with a 1-0 lead. 4 shots for Pittsburgh, 7 for the Devils. There's another one from Jelena that's steered away by Fleury. Picked up by Andrew Ebbett. He comes to center. The pass for Klinkhammer eludes his stick, and he turns and heads to the bench. And now Adam Larson will slip it inside the Penguin line. Scuderi banks it off the boards for Dumoulin. Dumoulin moves it out in center. Ebbett tips it for Farnham back on the ice after blocking that shot earlier. Penguins in on the forecheck. Good work by Dominic Huer to get in there and get a hold of the puck. Now Andrew Ebbett will pounce on it. Back around for Huer. And the Penguins continue to work extremely hard. It's in their DNA. Here's Bortuzzo with it now to Farnham. These guys from Wilkes-Barre work so hard every single night. Josh Yohe of the Tribune Review went to Wilkes-Barre to do a story on the coaching staff there. Saw them play last night, and he said he couldn't believe how hard they worked, blocking shot after shot. They're just really short a lot of good players because they're all up here, and so they're really having to kind of shut the door on the opposing teams, and they were able to do that last night. Here's Bortuzzo with a shot blocked, and cleared out to center where the Penguins have it. This is Dupre shooting it. Schneider the save. Kunitz looks for the rebound. Crosby as well. Sid able to poke it back to Pouliot. Slap pass, and then the shot by Kunitz missed the net. Here's Dupre with it. Back to the goal off of Schneider. And it comes right to Bernier. And again, good back pressure there by the Penguins. It was Kunitz that time who got back to prevent the Devils from going north. Now Kunitz with it down the left wing. Shoots it. And Schneider let that rebound get away, but Peter Harold has it for New Jersey. Kunitz over to hit him. The Devils changing. Able to direct the puck into the Penguin zone as Zajac. Pouliot goes back, quickly moves it up the wall. Malkin looks around for the puck. And he's able to push it forward. 2:30 to go in the first period. The Penguins leading 1-0.
On a Crosby dazzling goal move on Andy Green. And Martin Brodeur once told me that Andy Green was their best defensive defenseman. He loved Andy Green. He was a +15 in 37 games against the Penguins in his career.
Letang gliding and shooting. It's blocked by Zubris. Letang gets it back. Dumoulin. Sutter. And his pass for Letang off the stick of Zajac, and Chris Letang will go get it. Over to Dumoulin. Dumoulin to Malkin. Malkin to Sutter. Man open coming to the net. Spaulding, and Sutter just couldn't get on the puck in the right area. Sutter back on the puck again. Reverses it back into the corner. 1:45 to go in the first period of play. Malkin trying to get control. And now it's Henrique for Jágr. Eric Jelena swings around Scuderi and backhands it past Fleury to the corner. Letang over, able to whack it up the boards where Klinkhammer gets it going north. Klinkhammer into the Devils zone, trying to drive to the net. One hands it to the goal in front. Kunitz. Oh, it stopped as Kunitz came in with a great opportunity. Schneider was right there, I think, with the left leg on Kunitz. Now Bortuzzo with it at center.
Really good play there by Klinkhammer, using his big body just to throw the puck to the net and get that big rebound. And Schneider, he's kicking him out right now.
Here's Kunitz with a drive. That one just missed the pad of Schneider and also the goal. Off the corner boards to center, where Bortuzzo dumps it right back into the Devils zone. 53 seconds remaining in the period. 8 shots for Pittsburgh, 7 for the Devils. Gionta to the puck. Crosby pressuring him from behind. Ruutu tried to get it deep. Crosby with authority banked it off the boards to Brian Rust. Rust comes into the middle, moves it to Malkin on the left. Malkin swings it over to shot. Beautiful one by Pouliot and a great save by Schneider.
What about the pass by Malkin? Holy smokes. Well, they're not allowed those spinoramas in the shootout, Staggy, but they're allowed in play, and that was something. Right onto the tape of Pouliot, the defenseman who was joining the rush from the right side on his, well, he's on the offside because he's a left-hand shooter. He was able to one-time that, and his stick didn't break.
Schneider with 2 huge saves, keeping it 1-0 here.
That was a big save there. He was able to read that. Oh, there's a late hit there. Is that Farnham right in front of the Devils bench? I believe it was, and Tutu's talking to him right now.
Farnham also often finds himself right in the middle of a whole lot of opposing jerseys, doesn't he?
And he likes it.
Dan Potash will speak with Sidney Crosby during the intermission, brought to you by your neighborhood Ford store with Rob and Jay.
That two-headed monster was pretty special in the first period of play, and well, they hold that. They get the first goal against the Devils. That's a precious one.
Very good period for the Penguins. Let's go back to Rob and Jay in Pittsburgh.
Highlight reel goal for Sidney Crosby. Really a beautiful move as he gets his 11th of the season, puts the Pens up 1-0. Let's go back to the Prudential Center where Staggy and Bob have the call of the second period. Guys?
Thank you very much, Rob. Yeah, it was nice to see Sid finally put a nice glossy finish on one of those opportunities when he got behind the defense, Bob, which he's done a lot lately.
Well, he has been getting opportunity after opportunity, only one in his past 12. But we saw over the course of the last half a dozen hockey games, Crosby get in behind the defense, just unable to finish off, but he was finally able to do that tonight against the New Jersey Devils. Couldn't beat Holtby, but he could tonight against Andy Green, and he comes back, he's able to gain all that speed. There's the turnover. He tried to go that extra move against Green there, and he learned something from that. And when he got that speed going in the neutral zone the second time, he was able to beat Schneider on the short side. Schneider was cheating over there. Brian Rust was on his backhand driving that far post, and I don't know if that's what Schneider was thinking about, but he didn't play that very well. But there's nobody in the game that's got the combination of speed, that kind of movement with your hands at full speed, and being able to put a backhand in the net like that at top speed. Sidney Crosby's the best in the business at that, and the Penguins are up 1-0.
Penguins registered the last 7 shots on goal in the first period, starting with that shot by Sid that went in. So they really turned it up after going 9 minutes without a shot. Sid scored, then they got the next 7. Here's Camilleri shooting. I think Fleury just got a toe on that shot by Mike Camilleri.
Great save by Marc-Andre Fleury with the stick, I believe, Stag, as Camilleri dragged that puck across his body on the forehand, snapped it to that stick side.
Here's Rust trying to get it out of his own zone. The Penguins do come to center. Crosby looks for Rust. A couple of sticks got in the way of that. Now Kunitz. And Adam Henrique takes over for New Jersey, coming to center. Cuts into the middle. Penguins have 3 players back. The Devils are changing. Henrique protects the puck to the near wall. Drops it back to Merrill for Jágr. Now for Gomez, and cleared away by the Penguins.
Penguins have scored the last 9 goals against the Devils. They were down 3-1 in the first meeting. Won that one 8-3. Then they won 1-0, and they're up 1-0 here.
Here's Henrique with it. He dumps it in behind the Penguins goal. Bortuzzo to the puck. Wound it up the wall now for Malkin. Comes ahead with Megna and Sutter. Megna to Sutter. The shot, and he missed the goal. John Merrill sends it ahead. A quick 2-on-1 here. Malkin trying to get back to make it a 2-on-2, and Gomez's backhander missed the net. Penguins quickly counter. Megna with it into the Devils zone. Steven Gionta sends it around now for Adam Larson. Larson, a 4th overall pick in 2011. Now going to be being coached by Scott Stevens, and he has been reduced in ice time year after year after being drafted by the Devils. And an icing call here against the Penguins. Let's watch what Fleury did against Camilleri.
Well, Camilleri leads the Devils with 11 goals on the season, 5-year deal for $25 million. And there's that save by the stick or the blocker of Marc-Andre Fleury, keeping his body tight there in great position against Camilleri. A really tortured Fleury and the Penguins as a member of the Montreal Canadiens in that playoff series back in 2010.
I asked Camilleri today what kind of sticks he uses. Bob, he said he uses a 80 flex, a very whippy stick, and so he's able to get that puck to jump off that blade the way it does.
Yeah, Mike Johnson talked about his ability on the power play when he was coaching Camilleri in that situation, and how good Camilleri was for the Kings, especially on the one-timer.
Floated over the goal there by Larson. Penguins up 1-0 on the Crosby goal. Tuomo Ruutu working the corner now against Bobby Farnham, and the puck squirts out to Nick Spaulding. Spaulding along to the right side now for Simon Desprez, who backhands it to the goal, and Schneider will freeze it. Schneider has actually missed 3 games of the last 9, didn't play. That was after missing only 1 of the first 28. They thought he might play every game at 1 this year when he was in Pittsburgh on December 2nd. Here's the goals per game leaders in the league, brought to you by Barrel. And the Devils are 28th, while the Penguins have fallen to 3rd, although they've been right there behind Tampa Bay and Toronto quite a bit this year. Just slightly ahead of Chicago now. The Penguins, of course, with their lineup depleted, are not going to be able to score as many goals, and the power play not contributing much lately. So those goals per game going down a bit at the time, but they could go right back up again as Russ steers one into the Devils zone.
Well, the great thing is the goals against per game are coming down as well in conjunction with that, so that's why they still are able to win hockey games.
Letang's shot missed the net off the end boards. It's grabbed by Zubras. He tried to move it into the middle, and it came right to Rust. As he tried to bring it to the net, he was checked by Peter Harold. Green moved it out in center. Bouncing puck to the near wall, chopped to the corner by Zubras. Behind the net goes Dumoulin. Around for Kunitz. Now Green with a one-touch pass to Harold. His shot absorbed by Marc-Andre Fleury for a face-off. Day Auto brings you a great day for hockey. Sidney Crosby on December 29th of 06 with 3 assists against Toronto, giving him 118 points for the calendar year, the most in the NHL way back in 06.
Mark Recchi out there on that power play for the Penguins.
Last time Sidney Crosby scored 2 goals in a game was against.
Look out here, we got some. 2-2 for Bortuzzo. Boy, 2-2 was down, he was up, they were rolling around off the face-off. And we expected we might see that. 2-2 and Bortuzzo. 2-2 wanted a piece of Bortuzzo. This goes back to the Jágr incident. Bortuzzo laying out Jágr, a 2-game suspension on what the NHL called a late dangerous hit. And 2-2 wanted a piece of him now. He gets it this time as they line up on the wall. And there they are, the left side of the screen. And just waiting for the puck to be dropped. And they were going to go this time, weren't they? And 2-2 went right on his back. Somehow he's able to bounce right back up. That's hard to do as Bortuzzo tried to pin him to the ice. 2-2 would have none of that.
Well, if you remember after that game in which Bortuzzo hit Jágr, Peter DeBoer, the former coach of the Devils, said if that had happened to the Penguins star player, it would have been the start of World War IV, as he put it at the time. And I was thinking to myself, well, why didn't it happen for your team? Why didn't your team respond? If you think that the Penguins would have responded that way, why didn't yours? So 2-2 responds tonight, 27 days later.
Yeah, and he tried to in the last game, did Jordan 2-2. And that was the first shift of the game. This was about the 3rd shift of the game. And Jágr knew that he was in for a battle. And Robert Bortuzzo really crushed Jágr there. And he stayed down, went to the locker room. They didn't come back in that hockey game. 2-2 actually challenged Bortuzzo right prior to that hit. That last hit we saw on Jágr. And he got an opportunity here tonight as Bortuzzo obliged.
Now Yager tried to stop it with his right skate, but it came all the way through to Merrill, whose shot floats wide of the goal. Zilichki will get to it. Into the middle now for Henrique, and his shot wide of the goal to the near side, taken by Merrill. Merrill sends it in behind the net for Gomez. 5 each for fighting to Bortuzzo and Tutu, and now here comes Malkin back, and it's one man back for the Devils. Merrill, Sutter busting to the net. Malkin shoots it, and it's blocked by the man who was back, Merrill. And the Devils able to work it out to center. Now one man back for the Penguins. Scuderi as Gomez comes ahead, looks for Yager. Instead it's Henrique, and he shot it off the heel of his stick wide of the goal. Now Henrique right to the doorstep, and Fleury stops him.
Well, they don't have natural scoring ability. Not a lot of it right now, and it's been taken away. It's been kind of sapped out of them. The Devils really struggling, carrying the sticks real tight.
Oh, that went off the goalpost. A hard wrist shot by Tuomo Ruutu.
Oh, it was almost Fleury almost did. I don't think he picked it up. It didn't look like it was screened, but it must have been as Ruutu with a good snapshot to the glove side of Fleury. Right on that post, and Fleury's giving it some loving right now.
Play camera with a backhander and a second crack at it from a sharp angle, almost behind the net. And Schneider was there at the post. Ruutu into the middle now for Bernier.
We got a penalty here against the Penguins, delayed.
And the net is empty for a moment, but the whistle blows. So now the Devils with the man advantage coming up.
Yeah, Steven Johnson went down hard. He was hit by Andrew Ebbett right after.
Penalty number 25, 2 minutes for boarding.
So a boarding call right after a shot by Ruutu. Look at Flower got a piece of it, I believe. But here's the boarding call, and kind of from behind on Giunta as he's about 3-4 feet from the boards. And here's the post. Good speed. There's the shot off that crossbar. And it looked like Scuderi may have got a piece of that with his stick on the way in as well. A good hard shot, a rising shot by the former Kane and now Devil. Ruutu.
First power play for the Devils. It's ranked 10th in the National Hockey League. Camilleri has 5 power play goals for New Jersey. He's on the ice with Zajac and Dinas Zubers, who took that face-off and won it for the Devils. Now it is Zilichki at the right point. Harold is at the other point. Camilleri works the half wall. Zajac's in the high slot. Zubers on the goal line to Camilleri. Spalling and Gotch up front on the penalty kill for the Penguins. Letang and Scuderi are back. And a good breakup of the centering pass by Gotch, but the Penguins didn't get it out. The Devils get another crack here. Zubers to the corner for Camilleri. Up top, Zilichki fakes. Finds Harold. Zilichki to Camilleri. Back to Zilichki. A drive. Fleury the save with the rebound. He stopped Duberson on the rebound. Zajac is able to score. And the Devils have tied the game at 1. It's a power play goal.
Now the Penguins had a chance to get that puck out in the slot area. Marcel Gotch was the man that didn't get out as he had sticks all over him. And the Devils really pounced. They passed the puck around for what seemed like an eternity. 40 seconds of the power play. They finally, Zilichki gets the shot to the net. The redirect by Zubris. And there is the finish by Zajac. You can see them just converge on the net. Camilleri with a crack. Coming in from behind, and it's Zajac at the end of the day, the right-handed shooter that lost the puck up over top of fallen Marc-Andre Fleury. The power play for the Devils ties it at 1.
The first goal for the Devils against Marc-Andre Fleury in 120 minutes and 19 seconds. He had shut the door against New Jersey, but they are able to take advantage of a power play opportunity and tie this game at 1. That's a big goal for New Jersey to get some life here in the building. There's Bernier trying to get around the defense. Dumoulin stood him up nicely. Bernier takes him hard into the corner. And the Devils have the puck. Bernier working again against Dumoulin. That's a man-on-man situation there. It's wound back around to the opposite side for Larson. Behind the net now for Giunta. Trying to slip the check of Chris Letang, and now it comes to Dumoulin. Brian Dumoulin starts out for the Penguins with a long lead pass up the left wing to Crosby. Sidney Crosby with Rust and Kunitz. Kunitz with a backhander. He almost sneaked that one in on 2 occasions there with Schneider kind of leaving a little bit of room there off the post.
Did the same thing on the Crosby goal, as you know. He slid off that post area. You elevate that puck on Schneider because he's down on his knees, already cheating across for a backdoor play. And that's usually the defenseman's job. You take care of the back door, and for a goaltender, you're not supposed to give up a short side goal. That's your job.
Zubris and Harold I think assisting on the goal by Zajac at 5:33, a power play goal. Jaromir Jagr with it now, feeds it down the wall. Harold tried to get there, but Dupre got there first, and he winds it up the wall to Malkin. Malkin is upended. The puck handled down by Jason Megna. And Dupre got into the rush there to help Megna as he came to center ice. And Megna pulls up, winds it back around left side where Gotch will go get it. And he reverses it back to the near wall, but the Penguins are all flowing to the opposite side in the middle of a change, and Jagr able to bank it off the boards into the Penguin zone. Dupre backhands it off the glass. And the Devils go D to D. Zidlichky ahead for Camilleri. He's bumped by Bobby Farnham, and Dupre trying to barge ahead. Zubras draped all over him. And Zubras lost his stick in the process. No penalty called. Lead pass off the stick of Zubras, and Fleury will stop it behind the net. Scuderi fed it through for Gotch, who finds Bobby Farnham, and he's able to get it back to center. And Spalling jumps into the Devils zone. Spalling shoots it, and it's blocked by Andy Green up into the netting behind the Devils goal.
Well, the Devils have tied it at 1, and the Penguins tried to strike back. Kunitz a couple of opportunities on that short side, unable to get it by Snyder.
Penguins won, Devils won here in the second period, and our UPMC Sports Medicine injury update takes us back to the morning skate where winger Bo Bennett took on contact for the second time in 2 days. Head coach Mike Johnston saying after practice that Bo might be able to play Wednesday, but getting one more practice Tuesday would be very good, and then he could see where he is after that. Bennett, who has been slowed by a lower body injury and the mumps, has not played since November 24th. But guys, I think we all agree that he looked pretty good this morning.
Yes, and he looked pretty good in the lineup right now, too. Let's hope we can get him back and get him there to stay for a while. Here's Crosby out of the corner with it now. Back to Letang. A wrister, never got through. Crosby able to keep it in at the line. Into the slot. Back for Sid. The shot, that hit Green in the slot. Back to the corner. Now here's Ruutu behind the net. And Ruutu steps out from behind the net and moves it ahead. Carrying it to center now is Bernier, and he'll dump it up into the Penguin zone. Back to get it goes Letang. Winds it up the wall, but it hit Ruutu. Right back to Dumoulin. Tried to find Letang. Ruutu causing some havoc down there, but Rust able to work it ahead, and it'll bounce up into the Devils zone. Merrill goes back to get it.
Good support there for the Penguins to get that puck out. Dumoulin back in the game. I'm talking to Billy Guerin. He was the best guy on the ice for Wilkes-Barre last night in their 2-1 victory. So he gets a nod here tonight over Scott Harrington.
Linkhammer with a good hit in the corner on Dinah Zubras, and now Scuderi steps out ahead for Spalling. Zidlichky stepped up on him. Zubras is bumped from behind by Dupre. Slide into the ice with Scuderi to break up a play. Now Dupre comes back and hits Zajac, and Zajac pokes it to the corner for Dinah Zubras. Scuderi down on his knees trying to reach around Zubras. Dupre is there as well, so it's Dupre and Scuderi paired up again for the Penguins. Zajac again from his knees, keeping things along the wall there. Now Zubras steps in. He got it free. And it's taken by Zidlichky. Goes back across. Zubras to the net off the side of the cage. Camilleri to Zubras. Didn't handle the pass, but then Gotch couldn't get it out. It's held in. And shot wide of the goal.
This is the best line. Best line right here, Steggy. Bar none on the ice for the Devils in this hockey game. This line of Camilleri, Zajac, Zubras. I believe it's a hand pass. They called maybe offside. Nope, it's a hand pass in a 1-1 game. And you talk about injuries. There is a long list. And I think we numbered them all for you guys. I think we have 12 of them for the Penguins. Injury and illness, 148 man games lost, 110 in December alone.
And 10 players in the lineup tonight were not on the opening night roster. Such is life for Mike Johnston, and he's handling it well. Trying to look at the bright side, which is that the Penguins are able to evaluate a lot of the players in their system. Jim Rutherford and the coaching staff getting a first-hand look at players and a feel for what they're all capable of doing. That's the bright side of it. And also the fact that the Penguins have banked a lot of points prior to this spate of injuries. Now here's Megna to Scuderi, who turns. Around now for Bortuzzo. Gomez kept it in the corner. Henrique is there in the center, and it goes all the way to the blue line where it's picked up by Malkin. He's got Megna in tow and also Bortuzzo. Bortuzzo shoots it, and a good defensive play there by Adam Larsson to block the shot by Robert Bortuzzo. Malkin is bumped by Larsson but maintains possession. Now loses it to Adam Henrique, whose pass ahead for Jágr is tipped back to Scotty Gomez. Gomez over the line. Left it there for Jágr. Jágr banked it off the boards, but the Penguins reading the play, and Sutter goes the other way. He's got Megna with him. He has to change. He's got to be late on the shift here. Here's Pouliot with it, though, shooting in the save, and went right past Sutter, who went to the net. And out at center now. Carried into the zone by Bernier. A shot off the stick of Dupre. Bobby Farnham digs it off the wall and back for Pouliot. Pouliot to Simon Dupre. Pouliot is a French-Canadian last name. His grandfather lived in Montreal, but he actually grew up in Saskatchewan, and he's not bilingual. He cannot speak French. Merrill moves it ahead and is picked up down by Sestito. Stutter step move on Pouliot. Looks back. The Devils were changing the defense, so he dumps it to the corner where Bobby Farnham hands it right to Joe Whitney behind the net. His centering pass comes right to the stick of Andrew Ebbett. And back he comes for the Penguins. He dumps it to the corner, gets in after it. Eric Jelena backhands it around for Jordan Tootoo. Back to the opposite corner. Camilleri's got to go back to get it with Rust bearing down on him to make that Whitney. And they reverse it up the near wall for Eric Jelena. Out on left wing where Letang moves it along. Dumoulin. Head now to Sidney Crosby. Shoots it. There's a wicked wrister there that missed the net. Now Letang fires one wide of the goal.
Yeah, now you got nobody standing up on Crosby. Zizlicki might as well have been playing net there because the speed of Crosby has backed up the defense of the Devils after what Crosby did, almost just dancing around Andy Green, leaving him in the dust. Now they're backing up.
And here comes Sid again. Downshifts ahead for Rust. The shot, and he missed the goal on the glove side of Schneider. You get those shots on the net when Sid feeds you the puck. Sid feeds you the puck. Now here's the Camilleri shooting, and that's blocked by Bortuzzo. Taken now by Klinkhammer. He comes to center. 1-on-4. His backhander off the blocker of Schneider, and then it hit Larsson and didn't go in the net, fortunately for the Devils. Crosby trying to get it to the point. Larsson, pressured from behind by Klinkhammer, got the puck ahead to Zubris. Zajac can't get it deep. Scuderi prevented him from doing so, and it comes off Scuderi's stick back into the Devils' zone. Carroll goes back to get it with 7:17 remaining in the second period, and the game tied at 1. This is Ruutu into the Penguin zone. Left it there for Gomez, knocked away from his stick by Derek Pouliot. The Devils go D to D, and the lead pass for Ruutu comes right through to Malkin, and he takes off and looks back. Malkin, stick handling beautifully. Leaves it there for Dupre, and his wrist shot right to the goal, and the save made by Schneider. And he's able to corral that rebound.
Good up and down action here. 1-1. Devils have tied it up on a power play marker, and Crosby's flying.
Well, Rick, it seemed like there were a limit to the shots on goal before Crosby got on the board. And then you finished the period strong. Now to start the second, or at least for the bulk of it, not a lot of shots on goal. What are they doing defensively?
Well, they're tracking really good. They're blocking a lot of shots. We're going to have somebody in front of the net, but we have to. The second guy has to find a lane in the slot, show our defense a stick, because they are blocking a lot of shots.
Any other adjustments that you want to see made on the power play on your next opportunity?
Well, I think we got to go down low and take to the net. We got to get shots from the point, and sometimes we're overpassing. Got to get a little dirty, and that means low plays and shots from the point to get our power play going again.
Thank you.
Okay.
Guys.
The Devils have blocked 10 shots. The Penguins have blocked 6 shots in the game so far. Malkin turning on the backhand to the forehand. To Letang, to Malkin, the shot, and that hit Bernier. Green able to get to the puck and trying to get it out. Sutter leaned on him, and over to get it is Larsson. Good forechecking effort there by Letang, a defenseman, up on the play to force the turnover, but now the Devils are able to clear it back to center ice.
So what Coach Rick Tocchet is looking for here, guys, is one guy in front of the net, but somebody off the net with a stick on the ice for a shot redirect.
Keep your eyes out for In the Room on Wednesday at 6 p.m. on Root Sports. Of course, Pascal Dupuis discusses his latest health scare and shares his family's reaction to the news and much more. Excellent edition of In the Room on Root Sports.
And Rick Tocchet, I love that. He gives you good information there. So the shot pass is what I'm looking for here. Moving on because there's so many blocks, 10 for the Devils so far. And also, if they get another power play opportunity, which they certainly need one here, let's get dirty, let's get ugly, get the shots to the net, go get it down to the goal line to Sid, and have him just dive in. Just take it right to the net.
Spaulding. There's a crack at it here over to Scuderi. He'll have to go back and get it. Yager closes in on him. He's able to dump it rink wide for Spaulding. Bortuzzo moves it out in center where Merrill has it for the Devils. The Devils want to play more of a puck possession game, according to Lou Lamoriello. When I asked him today, he said, we want to be better in center ice, meaning the neutral zone, and when we have the puck, we want to be able to go back with it sometimes and possess it. That sounds familiar, doesn't it? That's what the Penguins do under Mike Johnston, but the Devils probably more passive in that neutral zone than the Pittsburgh Penguins are.
Yeah, you got to have the goods in the middle, too, and the Penguins have a lot more goods than the Devils do in that center position, as Bortuzzo and Yager were on the ice together for a brief second.
Devils centermen are Gomez, Zajac, Gionta, and Joe Whitney tonight. And this is Zubris into the Penguin zone. He tries a drop pass and went right to Chris Kunitz. Kunitz fighting to maintain possession against Zubris, and Dupre came over to help out. Dupre stick handling in the phone booth, moves it ahead to Chris Kunitz on the left wing.
So he uses his body to protect that puck.
Beautiful. Here's Crosby with it now. Back for Pouliot. Derek Pouliot keeps it in. Or did he? No, it's going to be offside. The Penguins have to tag up. Harold to center. Over to Green, who steers it into the Penguin zone. Pouliot back to get it. And the puck goes one direction, right back to the other, up to Malkin. Ahead to Megna, off his skate. Harold back to get it. Megna hard on him, trying to get to the puck, but then it's Camilleri cleaning up his own zone. Dump to the corner. Dumoulin goes back in after it. Bernier working against him. Winds it around to the near side for Jelena. Dumps it deep. Dumoulin burrowing in underneath one of the Devils there at the side of the net. Back to the point. Larson's shot. That blocked in front. And right to Malkin. Malkin tried to move it to the right side for Sutter. And the Penguins again kind of passing up an opportunity to shoot the puck there. And now it's Ruutu down the left wing. Bortuzzo playing against him. Ruutu feeds it into the middle. Malkin with a good back check, and then Bortuzzo came over to get a hold of the puck. It comes to center. Look out, he's sandwiched between two Devils, and there's Jordan Tutu again throwing right hands at Bortuzzo.
He wants another crack at him.
Well, he jumped him that time.
You can see the blood under the right eye of Robert Bortuzzo and the mouth area. Bortuzzo drew a penalty there. Maybe more than one. Crosby's talking to Dan O'Halloran. The initial penalty was going against the Devils. We're not sure what we got right now. I do see two on the board. There's the hook and the hold. And then the aggression of Tutu. Bortuzzo just trying to get his bearings. There are the quick lefts, and then a couple of rights that glanced off Robert Bortuzzo, and then Bortuzzo gets knocked on his back here. Oh boy, you can see his head hit the ices, and he looked like he laid down just for a split second, Staggy. That was very dangerous. And Tutu, hey, you're in a fight like that. He knew the lid was off, and he knew when he took him down to the ice that he was going to take him down hard. There's no love between two fighters after what happened the last time, what happened in this game. That carryover, Tutu with the new coaching staffs knows his job, knows his role, and that's why they want players to keep their helmets on. They want the chin strap tight. And you know, you can only imagine what Rick Tocchet is thinking inside right now.
Whatever he's thinking, he always has a smile.
No,
he knows that he just tries to be as pleasant as he can be with the referees, because you're not going to win. I remember Badger Bob saying that. I learned a long time ago I'm never going to win with him, and he wouldn't get in arguments with him because he knew it was just wasting his breath.
Yeah, well, he wore the number 22, then the 92 for the Pens, and Penguins are on the power play here.
They did get the man advantage from it, so Crosby seemed upset with what was coming, but the Penguins do have a UPMC Sports Medicine power play, and Derek Pouliot with it. See if they go for that shot pass that Rick Tocchet talked about. Malkin works it down low to Sid, back up top to Gino. Crosby, the tank sneaking in the back door. Crosby goes out for Pouliot, and he'll have to retreat to center ice now.
He's very confident with the puck. He won't throw it away. Look at him. He's very patient with it. He doesn't make that first move and just throw it away blindly. That's confidence.
Crosby with it now. He works the half boards, and Malkin goes to the front of the net.
Shoot it, Rick Tocchet said. Shoot it.
Pouliot shoots it, rather, and it's steered away to the corner. And now Malkin able to get possession of it. Around now for Crosby. Crosby was battling there. The Penguins somehow keep it in, and it's a good play by Pouliot to do that. Now Malkin to Crosby, right back to Pouliot. The Tank sneaking in the back door again on the far side. Malkin to the front of the net. He was looking for a redirect there by Kunitz, and it went right past his blade out to center.
Show him your stick, Rick Tocchet said, and we got a redirect by Malkin and almost one there by Kunitz on this power play for Pittsburgh.
Crosby into the Devil zone. To Kunitz, a shot high and wide off a stick to the near side. Letang keeps it in. 34 seconds to go on the penalty. Ruutu is in the box serving the penalty. We'll get you those penalties when we get an opportunity. Here's Crosby with it behind the net. Back into the corner now to Malkin. Malkin steps out. He's got an opportunity here maybe to shoot the puck, but hangs on to Kunitz, a shot, and the save made by Schneider, and he's able to freeze.
Well, Malkin's there just cradling the puck back and forth. Crosby on the goal line. Kunitz afforded a lot of room there in the house area in between the box, the defense and the forwards, and take a look. There's the cradling of the puck. Green's got a stick down there preventing the Crosby play. That allows that seam pass to Kunitz, and Kunitz with a good opportunity. 16 seconds left on the penalty.
The penalty's Ruutu for holding, and now here's a shot by Dumoulin that's blocked. And then 5 each for fighting to Bortuzzo and Jordan Tootoo. I think the Penguins felt that Tootoo should have gotten an extra penalty there. Here's Dupre with it. Pardon me?
An extra 2.
Yep. Here's Dumoulin out for Sutter, and it jumps over his stick. An extra 2-2. Here comes Ruutu out of the box. Now for Sestito. And he'll fire. Fleury got bumped into there by Henrique. Now
he did. Oh, then he got whacked.
Pushed him in the back of the head, and then Henrique returned to favor.
Yeah.
Now down the wing comes Magna. There goes Jágr the other way. Jágr swooping in now for the Devils. He shoots it. He scores.
Well, you got to think that Marc-Andre Fleury was distracted. He got bowled over in front of the net. Henrique got into his kitchen. No penalty called. There's a shot, and there's a whack to the back of his calf by Henrique, and Jágr. Way too much room as he moved from his left to his right across the zone. The Penguins, Scuderi and Dupre backing in, backing in, backing in. Then they switch. Then you see Scuderi saying to Dupre, "You got him, you got him. I'm going to move into the middle of the ice." So a little bit of miscommunication, too much backing up, and when you're playing against one of the game's greats with over 1,700 career points, he can make you pay. He struggled. That was a beautiful shot off the post, and I just got to think that Marc-Andre Fleury was a little distracted after the commotion in front of his cage.
Ruutu's shot, glove down by Fleury. Jágr gets in against Scuderi. Now the Devils have a little jump in their step. Here's Zalitsky with it. Zalitsky with a shot and a blocker save made by Fleury. Jágr's goal at 18:40, assisted by John Merrill. A late goal, those are always big. And when you're down by a goal going to the third period against the New Jersey Devils, regardless of what their recent record is, that's a tough spot to be in. Now Zalitsky gets involved with Bobby Farnham.
Yeah, and at the other end, Scuderi got plastered by Ruutu. So now you feel, yes, you feel the confidence coming out now. The Devils who score on the power play, and then they get a goal here after a penalty kill. Remember, they just killed a penalty, and Farnham trying to go in on Zalitsky and get into his face.
And we just had a shot of Lou Lamoriello saying something into the ear of Jaromir Jágr that made him laugh. So Lamoriello there to add encouragement.
It was a good shot, and Jágr's got that stick. He kind of shoots the puck a little differently. His hands are low. He's got the big curve there. It's tough to pick up where the shots are actually going off his stick as well. And you got to think the Jordan Tootoo fight also riled up this New Jersey team and crowd for sure.
What is your thought on the Tootoo situation, Bob? Just based on what you saw there in terms of the penalties and such, where the Penguins did argue a lot. Here's Crosby coming in. He shoots it wide.
Well, he initiated the fight. There's no question about that. He got right into the face, and Bortuzzo had no. He had to drop his gloves, or he was going to get punched about 4 times. But remember, the initial penalty was already going against the Devils. They weren't going to give them another one. You know, I've seen that happen time and time again. They weren't going to put him down 2-man.
Time expires here in the second period. Well, the Penguins, though, did have a chance on the power play.
Yep.
Couldn't make it happen. And the Devils come back with a goal by Jaromir Jagr at 18:40 to take a 2-1 lead through 40 minutes of play. Let's go to Robin Jay back in Pittsburgh.
3 goals, 2 fights, and a 2-1 New Jersey lead after 2 at the Prudential Center. If you're just joining us, here is what you missed.
Kunitz hands it off to Crosby, coming with speed around Green. Crosby's backhander. Did that go in? I think it did.
Yes,
it went up underneath the crossbar. Crosby scores a beauty off the rush on a backhand shot to make it 1-0 Pittsburgh. Zalitsky to Camilleri, back to Zalitsky, a drive for the save of the rebound. He stopped Duberson on the rebound. Zajac is able to score, and the Devils have tied the game at 1. It's a power play goal. There goes Jagr the other way. Jagr swooping in now for the Devils. He shoots it. He scores. So that's where we are with the Penguins down a goal. The Jaromir Jagr giving the Devils the lead, Bob. It's kind of an interesting story. Jagr coming to the rescue for him was Jordan Tootoo. Then Jagr scores the goal.
Yep, happened in the last meeting between the two teams in Pittsburgh. A 1-0 Penguin victory. And there was the big hit. Tootoo had challenged him just prior to that. There was no fight in that game. There was tonight. That was the first one off a face-off. And this one, after Bortuzzo had just been held up, Tootoo just started dropping the gloves, and took Bortuzzo a while to get his gloves off. Jagr took advantage of the Penguin defense backing in there, as they really couldn't identify which one was going to step up on Jagr, and he's going to make you pay, and he did, right after Marc-Andre Fleury had been bowled over in his cage.
Let's take a look at the amazing career of Jaromir Jagr, who turns 43 on February 15th. 711th goal scored here tonight. 6th all-time. He's the all-time leader in overtime goals. And in points, he's 5th all-time with 1,776. He had 5 scoring titles with the Penguins, 4 in a row. And now the New Jersey Devils counting on him to continue to play like he has played tonight in hopes of getting back into the playoff picture in the Eastern Conference. And the Penguins have different ideas here in the third period, down by 1. Brian Dumoulin into the middle now for Sidney Crosby. Crosby dumps it into the Devils zone. Kunitz gets in after it against Andy Green. Excellent forechecking effort there by Crosby. He's able to center the puck, and a turning shot by Rust was blocked. Sidney Crosby working so very hard here tonight, flying on his skates.
Digging out pucks, and I think about Jordan Tootoo, and I think about Zach Sill or Steve Downey sitting and watching that, and really probably just chomping at the bit to be out here in this hockey game. A couple of guys that could get into the face of Tootoo.
Now he jumped Robert Bortuzzo and really took advantage. Now Gotch fires one wide of the goal. Back out for Dupre. He's a pretty tough guy. He's gotten in a couple of fights this year. Tootoo obviously not a tall player, but he burrows in on you, gets in close fighting, and he's got those short, powerful punches.
Yep, Stan Jonathan-like or Ty Domi-like. Tough kid.
And he's an Inuit from Nunavut, which is a territory of Canada. Covers some 2 million square kilometers and 33,000 people. He grew up like what you would think of as an Eskimo. He's an Inuit from Canada. Shot from a sharp angle, and the rebound fired wide by Letang. To the near side, taken by Pouliot, and he's trying to move it into the middle. And it came right to Malkin, who sent it down the wall, and Sutter able to get control of it. Sutter to the right side, Letang. One touch pass to Malkin. Malkin turns away from Jelena. Jelena whacked it away from him. And behind the net, Letang moving up again. He was up by the net earlier in this game. And now he's going to get back defensively. Covering for him is Sutter. And Pouliot ends up with the puck. Derek Pouliot ahead down to Letang.
Well, the Penguins come out here. A great opportunity on this shift by Megna. He shot it wide to the blocker side, and Crosby was good on his first shift. So the Penguins just thinking about getting a victory here.
Crosby with a backhander and a save made by Corey Schneider. Back out to center where it's taken by Zajac. It rolled off his stick. And Dumoulin banks it off the boards, gets it right back, and gave it right to Andy Green. Green steps out of his own zone over to Harold. Long shot wide of the goal. Off the corner boards, Camilleri slaps it behind the net for Dinas Zubras. He's upended by Scuderi. Went down hard, too. Now turning with it is Camilleri. He got that shot on the net, and Fleury had to be alert to make the save on the turning shot by Camilleri. Now Dumoulin with it. And his pass out of the reach of Kunitz is going to go the length of the ice. There's no icing on the play. Here come the Devils. This is Gomez. He can still skate. Taken now by Dominic Huer ahead for Klinkhammer. Followed on by Huer to Klinkhammer. Neither one of them could get the puck deep there. And now it's Merrill wheeling it around now for Zalitsky. The outlet pass to Whitney is now onto the stick of Gomez, who dumps it into the Penguin zone. Back to get it goes Chris Letang. And back into the corner. Whitney goes to get it. He's a point-a-game guy down in Albany. Joe Whitney, now Jaromir Jagr dancing with the puck. Jagr stick handling beautifully. Jagr out now for Zidlicky, but a great read that time by Dominic Huer. Takes off the other way with Dupre alongside. Huer banks it off the end boards. Klinkhammer wants to go get it, but Whitney will get there first. The net's been dislodged behind the play. Whitney down the wing against 3 Penguins, turns the corner. He's at the end of his shift here. And now we get a whistle. The net has been put back on its moorings.
Well, the referee never looked back. He just decided to blow the whistle after the Devils had a chance going the other way. So he'll go back and check to make sure the net is on perfectly. He's saying to Snyder right now that I'm going to let your team continue on. And Crosby had a great opportunity on the back end. He got whacked on that shot. We saw Megna right before that have a great opportunity on the blocker side as well of Snyder. There's Jordan Tootoo back on the bench.
Former Nashville Predator. Patrick Hornquist quite familiar with Jordan Tootoo, I'm sure. Watching the game tonight. And he's a very tough customer who lived a different life from just about anybody you can think of in the National Hockey League. And amazing that he ever got to the NHL, really.
Yeah, he really did live off the land, Staggy. And
he was a hunter.
Yeah.
He would hunt for his food, and Nunavut. A very tough customer, but the Penguins, I'm sure, will also remember what he did to Robert Bortuzzo. So these 2 teams do play each other 2 more times this year.
Bortuzzo on the ice right now with Scuderi.
And he's hit hard by Tuomo Ruutu. And Bernier with the puck now. Sutter eyeing him as he sends it out in front. Shot by Sestito. Whistles wide of the goal. Good release there, but he missed the net. Larson with a shot from a sharp angle. Fleury the save. Bortuzzo along for Evgeny Malkin. And we're also finding out Bortuzzo is a tough kid, too. Now Malkin going to work in the corner. He's got the puck behind the net. Crosby goes to the front of the net. Malkin goes to the point. Letang skating nicely, hands it off to Gino. Back across now for Dumoulin. Dumoulin's wrister. Battle in front of the net between Larson and Crosby. As the puck comes to the stick of Sestito. And Sestito comes over the line and drops it off for Zubras, who throws it rink wide. Camilleri beaten to the puck by Letang, and Kunitz has it down. Over to Dumoulin. Penguins down by 1 here. In the 3rd period, the Penguins scored the first goal. Here's Zajac with it now. Looks for Camilleri. Let it go through to Merrill, a drive, and that one hit Crosby and ricocheted wide of the net.
Penguins turn the puck over, and again they do.
Backhand shot by Henrique, and Fleury the save, and they score on the rebound. I think Henrique just kept battling. He and Zajac were there, and the Devils have a 3-1 lead.
Well, really, that's a dangerous line, and twice the Penguins turn the puck over. And you're going to pay Henrique again. Got right to the feet of Marc-Andre Fleury, and he was the man who poked it in. After a shot block, there's the turnover forced by Zajac. The turnover by Kunitz in the middle of the ice. And Henrique stops right up there. He stops to the top of the crease. I believe he probably stopped right on the puck initially. There's the turnover. The puck to the net. There's the stop, and then the second crack with his stick. Penguins get there a little bit too late. And it's tough when you turn the puck over. Henrique has done a good job getting to the net, and I mentioned that line has been the best line really for the Devils. They're very strong. They've been on the puck, and they turn it over twice on that shift and get that insurance marker right now. So they're not sitting back, the Devils, not playing just in that neutral zone, that trap. They've been aggressive in the offensive zone in this third period, despite the fact they do hold the 1-goal advantage now too.
Penalty coming up. It's going to be against the Devils.
And this is where the key to the game, one of the keys, you have to score on the power play. The Penguins need it right now, and Farnham talks to the Devils bench as he goes to the Penguins bench, and the Penguins have to find a power play marker.
New Jersey penalty number 21, 2 minutes for interference.
So Gomez, Farnham, his second penalty that he's drawn in this hockey game. Gomez standing in his path.
John Hines told Josh Yohe last night in that interview he did up in Wilkes-Barre. He said he might not score a lot of goals in the NHL, but he'll get you 2 power plays a night, he said. And this is the second one that Farnham has put the Penguins on here in this one against the Devils. Penguins need a power play goal desperately right now. UPMC power play situation for the Penguins. And it's Kunitz with it. Pouliot, Sidney Crosby. Leaves it there for Letang. Throws it to the net. Save made by Schneider. The rebound loose. Crosby tried to get there. Sestito poked it to the corner. And Kunitz left it there for Sid. Sidney Crosby out now for Pouliot. Couldn't take the pass. The Devils try to clear, but it's held in by Kunitz. To Letang, to Pouliot. Derek Pouliot.
Head up, head up. Keeps moving. That's how you make plays.
Kunitz after Crosby. Letang moves into the slot here. Crosby hands it off to Malkin. Penguins moving bodies around now. Crosby, Letang. Tried a shot. It went off Henrique. It's frustrating to watch right now as the Penguins have a tough time getting pucks through here on this power play. Here's Kunitz with it. And his pass is broken up. Now he trips Zajac. And no penalty on the play, but Zajac comes into the attacking zone and is hit by Letang. Now Letang runs over Zubris, and no penalty there either. And the shot taken by Zajac misses the net. Zajac goes and gets the puck. The Penguins were changing power play specialists. And Fleury leaves it for Bortuzzo, so second unit on now for Pittsburgh. And 29 seconds left on the penalty to Gomez. Letang will lug the puck. Head down to Sutter. Sutter pulls up, looks back. Dumoulin was there, but he didn't give him the puck. Now he does. Camilleri killing the penalty up front. There's the shot taken from the right side by Sutter. And Schneider absorbs that one and no rebound. Tune into Root Sports this weekend for some WVU hoops. The Mountaineers head to Fort Worth to play TCU in a Big 12 showdown. It's all part of Wild and Wonderful Sports. Live Saturday at 4 on Root Sports.
Well, the Penguins get the shot on the half wall from Sutter. They keep the second power play unit on the ice with 15 seconds left in the Gomez penalty.
Dumoulin's shot hit Henrique and ricochets up into the netting.
Dumoulin played 25+ minutes yesterday in a late afternoon game for Wilkes-Barre and came back today. Gets the nod on that blue line for Pittsburgh.
Penguins have been ranked 30th in the NHL on the power play since November 28th, after getting off to one of the most torrid starts in the history of the game. Here come the Devils back now as they get control of the puck off the draw. We're down to 3 seconds on the Gomez penalty.
Devils using Camilleri and Henrique on that penalty kill. Using their top offensive players. And they need to win every game they can. The Devils just trying to claw back for points.
Bortuzzo with a slapper. He broke his stick on that. And here goes Jaromir Jagr in a breakaway against Marc-Andre Fleury. Jagr to the goal. And Fleury shuts the door on him. And Jagr tried to center and it came right to Fleury, who sends it up the near wall. Zidlicky pinched. Gomez holds it in. Spalling got a stick on it. Now Scuderi to Sutter. This is the second power play unit still on the ice. And here's a chance now for Gomez. He turns, looks back for Merrill, and it's intercepted by Spalling. And back he comes. The referee fell down. Spalling dumps the puck into the right wing corner. Merrill goes back to get it. And Dupre, Penguin defenseman, came rushing in there on the forecheck. Scuderi and Dupre get back. Dupre with the puck. And you're going to have to activate your defense when you're down by 2 with 11:18 to go in the hockey game.
Yeah, and Marc-Andre Fleury gives you a chance right now, stopping Jágr on that breakaway situation after Bortuzzo had broken his stick.
The power play has sapped the Penguins of some momentum too. Sometimes when you don't score on the power play, it gives you momentum, and that has not been the case here tonight. Now a trip there in the neutral zone on Ruutu by Dupre, and that'll be a penalty. The stick broke on the play as he chopped the stick of Ruutu right out of his hands, and Dupre goes to the box.
Well, Jágr with a chance for his second of the game. Fleury stayed with him, and he lost the puck. There's big Simon Dupre in the penalty box. Devils get an opportunity, and the stick coming down hard on Ruutu's stick. Ruutu's been very physical in the hockey game as well. And we should mention a little hockey action going on down in Pittsburgh. Three Rivers Classic. Colgate, Western Michigan today. 2-1 Colgate. Get down there and watch some great hockey if you want.
And the final of that tournament will be played tomorrow night at Consol Energy Center. We invite you to head down there to see some good college hockey. Colgate University, where Mike Milbury matriculated. This is Zidlichki into the Penguin zone and sends it down into the corner. Out now for Camilleri, and his shot. Fleury the save. The rebound got away from him, and Camilleri able to wind it back up the right wing wall. So the Devils continue to control the puck here with the man advantage. They already have a power play goal to their credit here tonight. Camilleri works the near wall and closes in and shoots it off a stick behind the net. Zubras gave it away to Scuderi, who risks it hard up off the wall and back out to center. Penguins change penalty killers.
Now you might want to put some offensive guys out here. Crosby had a great shorthanded breakaway the other night. You're down by 2 goals halfway through this third period. Don't be afraid at the end of this power play in about 20-30 seconds to get Crosby, Malkin, and anybody you need to get out there.
Henrique back out to the point. Green. Jelena. Jágr. Jágr penetrates to the circle, shoots the puck, and hit Bortuzzo and went wide of the net. Henrique has it now. Pretty talented player to be on the second unit, Adam Henrique. Here's Andy Green with it. Bernier's in the high slot. They kind of split their power play up. They got Jágr and Henrique in the second unit. Jágr again penetrates and shoots it, and that one goes up into the netting behind the goal, and a face-off coming up.
Good stick on puck. Well, Brian Rust isn't a big guy. Gionta's not a big guy. And it's time for a Subway sandwich of the game, and that's what it was. It was Rust, Gionta. Gionta went down. Rust saw him coming. Lowered the boom.
Gionta's the only forward for the Devils who's played all 38 games this season. They've had 7 regulars out of their lineup at times this year. Patrick Iliash on the shelf, as is Michael Ryder at the moment. Jakob Josefsson also. Bryce Salvador, an important guy on their team on defense, has been out all year. There's Jelena with it now. 9 seconds remaining on the Dupre penalty. The Penguins need to kill this and give themselves a chance to get back into the hockey game, down by 2. Camilleri leaves it for Zubras. Back in behind the net. Sidney Crosby beaten to the puck there by Camilleri. After the point to Jelena. Dupre's on the ice. Shot by Jelena, stopped by Fleury. The rebound to the corner. Zajac dancing on Letang. Crosby reaches in, and he's got the puck. Here goes Sidney Crosby ahead to Evgeny Malkin. Back for Sid over the line. And offside is called on the Penguins as they enter the Devils zone.
Good stop by Fleury. It was a redirected that shot by Zubras on the way in. Time's ticking away on the Pens here.
Jaromir Jágr was asked today, what if you were going to be traded? You know, the situation this team is in right now, the trading deadline coming, teams might like you. And he said, it's up to Lou. I've got no problem with being traded. If he wants to move me, he will. If he doesn't, he doesn't. He knows I like it here, but it's all about whatever is best for the team. And he said, in the last 25 years, I've never been in this situation. I've never been on a team that was this close to being the worst in the league. They're 15th in the Eastern Conference out of 16 teams. Just a few spots from the bottom. Jágr has missed the playoffs only 3 times in his career, including last year with the Devils. And this is his 21st year in the league. A backhand pass by Crosby off the side of the cage.
Well, they've held the Penguins to 20 shots in this one a couple years ago, and they led the league averaging 23.5 shots allowed per game. Since that, the numbers have gone up.
Now Zajac pokes it down the boards, and I think, Bob, that it is a little bit of back to the future for the Devils here with Scott Stevens and Adam Oates and Lou Lamoriello behind the bench.
You usually get this, you know, you get a quick hit, a quick injection of energy.
Quick shot wide of the goal by Crosby as he reached out to whack it wide of the net. Now it is taken in the near wall by Adam Larsson.
Speaking about injection, that Larsson, I mean, this can't be anything but good. Yeah, I mean, his numbers of ice time has gone down over the years, but he's been good in this game. He's been out against Malkin primarily in this hockey game, and he's a big guy, 4th overall in his draft year. Moving down there deep in this situation, he's got the puck.
He does, and he shoots it in a save made by Fleury. And the thing about Adam Larsson is, and about any player, as we get a little confrontation here after the whistle down low. Gattuso there again. And Larsson, Bob, and we take a look graphically at how his ice time has diminished. Isn't it the coach's job to get the most out of players? I mean, you got a guy
That's
like
what coaching is. Yeah. It's getting the best out of your players. It's your job to do that. And since he was picked 4th overall in 11, look at his ice time. It should be the other way. Should have started at 16. It should be 20.5 right now, but he's been on a decline. His mood is not good. No. You said you talked to him this morning.
No, he
wasn't that pleasant. I mean, maybe he shouldn't be. His team's well out of the playoffs. He's not playing that well. He doesn't have any confidence whatsoever. And you're hoping Scott Stevens behind the bench is going to, inject that kind of confidence. That's what the Penguins do. That's what Gary Agnew's been doing. There's Scott Stevens right there.
22 seasons of the NHL, 3 Stanley Cups, Hockey Hall of Fame. He was a mean player.
You better know that he's on the ice.
Well, maybe we get an opportunity. Maybe we can show you some examples of his handiwork. And there's a turning shot. Take a look at Scott Stevens here, Bob. If you want,
I wouldn't call it handiwork.
You might want to get the children out of the room on this.
Forearm work or shoulder work, because you got your head down. You're gonna get the forearm shiver, and it's gonna be right in your head, and it could end a career. And that one was late against Korea in the finals. He came back Korea to score a goal and win a game for the Ducks in that one, but. He was very dangerous out there in the ice, and he was as thick as they come.
When he started with the Washington Capitals, he had over 300 minutes in penalties, and he was very much out of control. But he became a stalwart defenseman for the New Jersey Devils and a mainstay here all the way to the Hall of Fame, and then as a coach previously and now returning as coach. Here's a shot from a sharp angle by Bobby Farnham, stopped by Corey Schneider. Now Marcel Gottsch with the puck.
Farnham almost squeezed one in there to make it 3-2 in this hockey game.
That's what the Penguins need. Something to just kind of come out of nowhere here to give them a lift, because they've had a lot of comeback in their game over the last couple of weeks. And Bobby Farnham trying to get a little spark going here for the Penguins as he throws it to the net. Zubras can't get it out. And now another crack at it. He gets it ahead to Camilleri. Feeds one ahead to Zajac. In on goal. Zajac stopped it, and he ended up with a puck again. Turned it back over to the near side where Zubras turns away from the check of Crosby. Shot fired from the near wall by Camilleri was stopped by Fleury. And now it's Derek Pouliot with it. Looks over his options and finds Simon Desprez barging in. Backhand shot. Schneider steered it behind the net. Malkin on the puck. Out now for Pouliot. And across. And a turning shot. And it's just was blocked in front, or maybe a blocker save made by Schneider on the shot by Desprez. Yeah. Desprez goes hustling over against Camilleri. He couldn't get it out. Rust has it now for Pittsburgh. To the corner and Malkin. Out now to Pouliot. Wrist shot. Gloved by Schneider. He had to reach out to grab it.
Well, and Crosby battling to get to the front of the net on Peter Harold. Good stuff by Pouliot and Desprez. And yes, Fleury giving the Pens another chance, stopping Zajac. Well, got a little mayhem on the left, and Crosby as well, trying to fight to the front of the net on Peter Harold, and Harold doing a good job boxing out Crosby. Crosby tried to get impede the vision of Schneider, and he didn't like it at the end, took Harold down. You know, I know Lamoriello had a discussion with Jágr the other day, Staggy, and I guess it went on for a long time. One of the things Lamoriello asked is, who would you put in a shootout? Because they've been so bad in the shootouts, the Devils. And I'm watching these breakaways right now, and Jágr didn't even get a shot. Zajac got a little opportunity, and Fleury shut him down, but he couldn't really. Jágr couldn't figure anybody out, and after 5 minutes, he said, Scotty Gomez? That was the only guy he could think of. Yeah, their shootout record is poor. As a matter of fact, it's 2 and 6 this year.
Kunitz dumps the puck into the Devils zone. Brandon Sutter gets in after it. Centers it. Schneider going to stick on it. Pouliot fanned on it. Kunitz chops it to the goal. Glove down by Schneider. And Henrique uses the glass to get it back to center ice. 4:51 to go in the game. The Penguins down by 2. This is reminiscent of a lot of games we've seen over the years in New Jersey for the Penguins. And the only difference is Corey Schneider's in the net and not Martin Brodeur. Puck is dumped in by Zajac. Back to get it goes Letang. Here goes Dumoulin. He dumps it in. This should be icing, and it is. When you look at the record of Marc-Andre Fleury playing against Marty Brodeur, and we thought, well, you know, Brodeur's not here now. Maybe we'll get a different result tonight. But you can see that his record was not good here over the years. 3-12 against Marty Brodeur here in New Jersey when he was a member of the Devils, now with the Blues, and talk about him maybe playing his final game for St. Louis. As Brian Elliott is back in the fold again from coming back from injury, so now they've got 3 goalies. But Schneider doing the job that Brodeur did tonight. The Penguins registering 25 shots so far, 27 for the Devils, and it's a 3-1 Devils lead. And the face-off between Crosby and Zubris was won by Dinas Zubris, using him to take a lot of draws.
I'm wondering if Mike Johnson's going to pull Marc-Andre Fleury earlier. We've seen teams pull their goaltender down by 2, 3.5 minutes left in hockey games over a stretch of a couple of weeks here, Staggy.
Yeah, he did it the other night against the Capitals. Yeah. Look at this battle down there in the corner. Letang was tangled up with Zubris, who skates off the ice without a helmet. Now Malkin making a beeline for the puck. Harold gets back and moves it behind the net to Green. Crosby reached out for the puck, but it comes up the wall to Bernier. Now Derek Pouliot will take control of the puck. Pouliot to Scuderi. Penguins need a goal here. They get 1, they might get 2. They got to get 1 here. Here goes Pouliot into the Devils zone. He dumps it to the right wing corner. Larson goes back for it. Sends it around to the near side. Scuderi sets it up. And Gotch can't get control of it. Handled down by Bernier, and he will flip it up into the corner. Zubris' helmet is still there. Pouliot got back to make a nice play. You can see the skill Pouliot has. He is somewhat reminiscent of Letang the way he plays. With a lot of similar qualities.
Heads up, always looking to make that play, but he's very patient with that puck. As a young guy that's only played a handful of games in the National Hockey League, I know he's done it at other levels, but this is a different animal right here.
Sutter tried to backhand it to the front of the net. It goes behind the goal. Hustling over is Magna. Magna dumps it in deep for Brandon Sutter. Sutter with Gomez checking him. Gomez leans on Sutter. He tried to center for Magna. And then it's back up into the Penguin zone, and Letang will go back to get it. Jágr coming in there with pretty good speed, but Letang got there first, around for Dupré. Jágr hits Dupré, and Letang moves it up the wall now for Kunitz. Rink wide for Simon Dupré. Down to 2.5 minutes to go in the game. Keep your eye on Fleury here.
Yeah, Mike Johnson's saying hang on, but he's ready with the hand signal on the bench right now. And Fleury's going to come off as soon as he possibly can.
Dupré goes back and sends it around now for Brian Dumoulin. Dumoulin back to Simon Dupré.
Mike Johnson still with the hand up, and now he says signals Fleury off.
Rust with the puck on the right wing. Fleury's to the bench. Dumoulin with the puck. He shoots it. He just missed.
Oh, there was a spot in that glove hand, and he almost had it.
Malkin to Pouliot. He'll wrist one through if he can. Here's Dumoulin with it. He fires. Save made on a redirect. Rust for the rebound chance. And Schneider made the left pad save on Brian Rust.
Oh, man. Vertical leap. Malkin kept it in.
Crosby with it. Sidney Crosby to the side of the net. He looked for a redirect there by Rust. And it redirected all the way back out to the blue line where Pouliot moves it to Malkin. Penguins with the extra attacker on. The net is empty down to our right. The shot by Pouliot is blocked. Camilleri with a puck. Pressured by Sidney Crosby. And the Devils are able to clear it. Pouliot will go back for it. And it will be icing. No, they wave it off. One man had his arm up, the other waved it off. So here we go. The Penguins coming up ice with a minute 14 to go. It's Pouliot. To the right wing now to Gino. Following on is Sutter. Pokes it to the corner. Kunitz trying to get in after it. Sutter there as well, along with Gotch. Comes out to Pouliot. We get a whistle on the play.
Too many men on the ice. They call.
Yeah, 7 guys out there.
Yeah. 7 is too many. And they were playing with 7 for about 15 seconds, but the linesman kind of figured it out. Hey, 6, 7.
Has a bench minor for too many men in the ice.
They used to play with 7 men on the ice way back in the early 1900s, Bob. When they had rovers.
Wow. Well, take a look at the shot pass. And Rick Tocchet, when he talked to Dan Potash, he said we got to look away from the net. Somebody's got to get available. Dumoulin, there's the stick of Rust as he redirects it in on top of Schneider, but not quite enough pace to elevate that. And 7 men on the ice was detected by the linesman who made the call. One of the few penalties a linesman can make.
Simon Dupre with it now. Fleury back in the net. 58 seconds remaining in the hockey game. Dupre to the puck. Devils with a power play to end the game. Harold with a puck. Over to Zidlichky. The Devils will play 10 of their next 15 games, including this one, on home ice. So if they're going to get back into the race, they got a lot of home cooking to try to do that. Penguins also have a lot of home games coming up. 8 of the next 11. There's Gomez across, and a one-timer fired wide of the goal.
Harold missed a wide open cage to the right of Fleury.
Yeah, and here's Kunitz shooting, and a blocker save made by Schneider. Another save from a shot from the near wall by Kunitz. 9 seconds to go. The Devils faithful on their feet. And there's the hope here in New Jersey as the Devils have defeated the Penguins tonight here 3-1, and now the home team has won the last 8 games in this matchup. And that's the first win for Lou Lamoriello, Scott Stevens, and Adam Oates as the new coaching staff of the Devils. And Travis Zajac is our McDonald's player of the game with a goal and an assist here tonight, Bob.
Yeah, they were good with Camilleri and Zoubris. That line, Jágr picked up a marker against the Penguin team who were 18-3-4 when scoring first. Crosby got on the board with a dazzling display as he moved around Green, but that wasn't enough. The Devils came back. They were able to get on the board. Their power play did score a goal here tonight. The Penguins didn't.
That's the story of the game here tonight. Let's go to Rob and Jay.